Hey guys, Stucky here. If you ever wanted to try the best version of the Action Network app? Well, now is the perfect opportunity to do so because we have a special offer to celebrate the month of March and the NCAA tournament. You can get pro access for just $9.99 for the first month. That will give you access to things like Sean Kerner's player prop projections, which are invaluable, real-time money percentages, and our model's biggest edges, and much more. All you have to do is head over to actionnetwork.com/madness. That's actionnetwork.com/madness and get there before the deal expires. Cheers. All right, let's go to the MAC. Top 8 make it here. Cleveland, Ohio. No buys. Just a straight bracket. Quarterfinals on Thursday. Semis on Friday. Championship on Saturday. Akron is the favorite here at plus 165. Toledo close to 3-1. Ohio plus 350. Kent State 7-1. I'm seeing at a book out there. I don't get that price. I
No.
can't get there because I also think Chris Payton is out.
Yeah.
So no thank you on Kent State. Miami, Ohio 18-1. Central Michigan 24-1. Western Michigan, led by one of the better names, B. Artis White, 60-1. Very intriguing league in the way that it played out. I personally, when I look at this from a surface perspective, Toledo has the best offense by far in the
Per
league.
usual. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a team that, and I look at their price. They're going to start with a Kent State team that I don't think is going to have Chris Payton, and they're 3-1, and Akron's plus 165, Ohio's plus 350. They would have to play each other in the 2-3 game. So I have those teams priced rather similarly. Like they're all in the same ballpark. So Toledo looking to get to its first ever NCAA tournament appearance since the tournament expanded. The last time they got there, 1980.
That's wild.
Insane. That was the first MAC tournament, 1980. They won it, starting what they thought was the Toledo reign, and they haven't won it since. Insane.
Yeah, despite winning the regular season several times under Ty Kowalczyk.
Countless times, but yeah, their offense with Maddox, Simmons, Cochran, Moss is very, very good. Defense has some issues. Super soft at rim, and they're 359th in 2-point defense. They also don't have a bench, which worries me a little bit. 3 games in 3 days. But while they shoot the three really well, they're not like an overly reliant 3-point shooting team. I think they're bottom 20 in 3-point attempt rate. Want to get to the rim. So I think that they're intriguing just from a price perspective, since they're going to get a maybe shorthanded Kent State team. Akron, Ohio would have to play each other. Akron is a very, very interesting case study because I don't know what happened to them. This team was
last
dominant.
2 games.
Yeah, I mean, even going back, they lost. Over they lost 4 of 6 to close out the year. They lost at Ohio. They lost at Toledo. Okay, that's fine. But they lost to EMU at home.
Yeah, 21-point favorites.
Western Michigan gave up 90. This team has a ton of talent. Enrique Freeman's a beast. An amazing player if you haven't watched him play. Ali, Tribble. They should be really good. They have the most talent, but I don't know what happened to them down the stretch. And then they first start off with Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio has shooters, but Akron is a good perimeter D, and Akron should kill them on the glass. I think they'll be like an 8 or 9 point favorite, but I'm not. Let's start there. Let's just start in the bottom half. Akron, what happened to them? And do you trust them? Do you think there was just like a lull at the end of the season?
Yeah, I lean that way. I think they should be the favorites to win this league. I think they are the best team. 2 weird collapses, obviously, but a great defense, which I think travels in conference tournament play. And of course, an experienced roster that's literally won this before and kind of has that mindset already. So I like the experience. Miami of Ohio did beat them this season early on. I don't think they will again. I think the mismatch between Gross and Steele is a chasm basically of coaching prowess. Yeah, but I think I like Akron to come out of that bottom half. The Flyer though, Western Michigan, 60-1. I don't hate that at all. They beat Akron and Ohio this season, and they have a lot of talent on their team. They have Javante Brown, a guy who played with Texas A&M that really changed their entire complexion once he got eligible.
Yeah, I don't hate them as a Flyer. I mean, look,
Hmm.
look at this format too. Like
Right,
everyone
straight up.
is at an even playing field. 3 games in 3 days. There's no buys. You're in Cleveland. Yeah, Western Michigan certainly has a lot of talent. Won 4 of 6 to close out the year. They are one thing that scares me about them, but again, it's a lottery ticket, is they are ungodly bad from the line.
Horrible.
Uh, like, I mean, it is bad. Anthony Crump, in particular, 22 of 86 on the year
Yeah,
from the
26%.
line. 25%
He
from the
shoots with his
line.
eyes closed, to be fair.
I mean, that is so he's kind of weighing it down. I mean, their guards can, um, Hubbard and White are good from the line. But as a team, like Titus Wright is around 50% too.
Hmm.
That scares me a bit. But they have a pretty deep bench. So fatigue won't be an issue. Really good on the offensive glass. Um, Ohio is, really good offense. Interestingly enough, they've won 10 of their last 11 league games.
Hmm.
Their only loss was by 2 at Akron. Defense is, just okay, if they're not turning you over. But the offense definitely has some talent. Did Miles Brown just sit out to rest in the last game? He didn't play the last game.
I'm not sure. You saw a couple teams rest some
Yeah,
guys. I wouldn't
resting.
be surprised. Yeah, if he was just rest.
Yeah. But that Western Michigan could certainly beat them. But you think Akron's getting out of
Yeah, I do. I do. I just
bottom
trust.
half?
Yeah, I trust Gross in this setting. I trust the experience. I trust the guards. And Enrique Freeman, probably the best player in the league. So I think they have a lot going for him.
Yeah, Akron also super comfortable in like half court tourney style games. They
Right.
slow the game down, grind it to a halt. Um, Moving to the top half of the bracket, where Toledo is the 1 seed. We already talked about that. They'll take on Kent State. No Peyton. I don't think Kent State's a threat there, right?
It's wild they're an 8 seed. Just what we thought of this team preseason, but without Peyton, I think they're toast. Yeah.
I would agree. Then Toledo would, if they get by Kent State, they would take on the winner of Central Michigan Bowling Green. Central Michigan, very slow. D is significant. D's playing really well.
Hmm.
The problem is their offense. They don't really have any. They won a ton of crazy overtime games,
Hmm.
had a bunch of overtime variants. Bowling Green's the opposite. Bowling Green, who's also playing better of late, lost a bunch of overtime games, including 2
Two.
to Central Michigan. So they lost both. They got swept by Central Michigan both in overtime. I think one went to double overtime. Bowling Green, I think they underachieved, but I don't know. I think that they, as around, you can have 14, 15-1. They lost a bunch of close games. They had some bad shooting variants. They were shooting it went like a month where they shot like 18% from 3.
Yeah.
Marcus Hill is a baller. You have Trey Thomas, who's back, and I think now finally healthy. They have some talent, some guards that could take over. They asked Hill to do a lot, which might be tough ask, 3 games in 3 days. But I would much rather have a Bowling Green ticket than a Central Michigan, even though Central Michigan, you are getting a better price. I think Bowling Green is more upside with their offense. I just don't think Central Michigan could beat a Toledo and then, an Akron with their offense.
Yeah.
Does either Bowling Green or Central Michigan intrigue you?
See, I kind of liked Central Michigan at 24-1 as my second Flyer. Yeah. They did beat Toledo this year, surprisingly. They have a strange way of doing it, but you mentioned their defense, number 1 in the MAC this season. Now, some of it might be shooting splits, a bit of luck in there for sure. You mentioned 2-0 against Bowling Green in overtime, but they don't have a bad roster, and they've had guys in and out of the lineup pretty much all season. Injuries at first, and then last game, Barbie made the decision to rest Pritchard and Harding at full strength. I think this team's actually pretty good, and I think they kind of showed it down the stretch in MAC play. They've beaten just about everybody in this league. Obviously not Akron, but 24-1. I don't really mind it, especially compared to a 14-1 for Bowling Green. I hope
That's true,
Toledo
'cause that spread's going to not be that
2
far
points
off.
maybe. Yeah. Pick. Yeah. I hope Toledo wins this league, by the way, even though I'm choosing Akron. I just want them to get back to the dance, for the first time since you mentioned 80. And Kowalczyk just deserves it after so much regular season dominance over the years.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Central Michigan, their D has been good. I mean, they've been good against the rim, good against 2-point D, but teams shot 28% from three.
Yep, that's an
against
outlier.
them.
And they allowed the highest rate of threes too in the league. So that's an outlier.
Now, the good thing for them is Bowling Green can't shoot. Like you have, I mean, Hill is shooting 28%. Who's their best shooter?
Yeah, Thomas is 28%.
Their best shooter is Spurgeon. Their 7-footer who's shooting 34% from three.
Yeah, that's ugly.
Yeah, I would need with Bowling Green. What do I make them? Let's see. So if I can get like 15-1, 20-1, maybe. But my pick, Toledo breaks the streak. Toledo gets in on the backs of their offense. Are you going with Akron as your pick?
My head goes Akron. My heart is with Toledo. So I wouldn't mind if you won this MAC tournament.